And Governor, what about government also not creating a hostile environment in terms of certain tax policies? I'm curious what your reaction is to the proposed border tax. I know Michigan, of course, has an important relationship with Canada trading-wise, but also with Mexico. So will that be negative for your state if that is enacted?
Well, you have the facts accurate. Michigan is the biggest trading partner is Canada, but Mexico is a huge partner. And what I would say is the real thing is, how do you do the balancing act appropriately? I think there are issues that probably should be on the table that should be addressed potentially between the countries in terms of better balance. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to see an environment where we're in a trade war. That could have devastating negative consequences to Michigan, but also many other places. There might not be any winners in that. So how do you really strike that right balance to saying, can you fine-tune things to come out with better outcomes that are fair, and at the same time avoid a situation where you could cause major economic dislocation, because that would have bad consequences for us all?
So as a border state and someone who deals with these various other countries, is there anything in particular in a NAFTA renegotiation that you would like to see?
What I would say is I would want to hear more from my private sector companies in terms of what they're saying. We've seen a lot of success. Generally, our success has been very positive in terms of growing trade. And I view that as something important to Michigan, whether we're talking about exporting to Canada or to Ohio. The other thing is we've seen better, stronger trade relations in terms of new economic opportunities. Areas like the aerospace industry is something now we're doing more partnerships with Canada. Automotive has always been strong. So we have a great relationship with Canada, and I clearly want to see that continue.
Governor, one other question here on the border tax element. Right now, the speculation is that we haven't gotten quite all the details that we need to figure out what the economic implications are going to be. But one very real possibility is that it's going to create higher prices for consumers. Do you, in your state, see the strength in the consumer and the strength in the economy able to sustain potentially higher prices if we start taxing goods coming across the border?
Well, that is one of the challenges. I mean, there can be expenses to that, and that's part of the balancing act that needs to take place. These are not simple questions. The good part I can tell you, over the last few years, we've seen tremendous success in terms of economic growth in Michigan, and exports have been a strong engine for that. And I see real benefits to the trade relationships we built. So let's make sure we don't get in a situation where it becomes adverse on both sides and we go backwards. So if there's improvements to be made, let's have an open discussion, but let's try not to get in an environment where we see very negative consequences happening.